because it's best to leave no stone unturned. And we found some bonus material for you. It's just this way, at the Dim Carnival.
Welcome, everybody, back to the Dim Carnival. I'm Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
And we have no Bill today.
What the fuck, Bill?
I know.
Bill, we miss you, man.
We do. I know you're busy, though, so, can't crap on him for it.
We can't, because he's busy being crapped on by a tiny human being.
And apparently peed on a lot, too.
His giant baby is a urine factory. It's just a constant stream, as I understand it.
That is what I have heard too.
Well, I do want to apologize I know I made an announcement on Instagram like 2 weeks ago that you and I were going to continue that we would have an updated episode or whatever, a bonus episode. But apologies to everybody. We just couldn't get it together. Steve and I are some scrubs who just can't get our act together. But here we are. Super stoked to be here. Finally.
And we're doing some great stuff today, though, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. We are going to be talking about two songs that were on the collector's edition from Wizard in the Hood. These were songs I've never heard. And as much as you guys heard me rant and rave on how much I loved Wizard in the Hood, we had decided when we did that album that we were going to do the original release because that was the one that Bill and I both had. So we didn't check out these songs, and now we're gonna go back and do it.
Yeah, I think they are the songs that we did on the episode are the ones that are also on Spotify, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the easiest for listeners to access as well. But these two tracks are on YouTube, which is obviously. So that's where I listen to them.
Yeah, same.
And when we did that episode, I posted a couple of posts on Instagram about things that we talked about on that episode, and I had mentioned that there was a collector's edition, right, that came in a special tin, and it came with these violent joint rolling papers. And I couldn't find, when I looked up, I couldn't find when this collector's edition came out. I assumed it came out later. But in that Instagram post, I want to give a shout out to the homie Brendan. He's commented on a few of our things and he sent us some emails. He let me know that the collector's edition actually dropped concurrently with the regular edition of the album. And these two songs actually were previously released because Wizard of the Hood came out in 2003, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. These two tracks that we're covering today were released on ICP.com on Thanksgiving of 2002 as a free download. So they're available or accessible to fans in a variety of ways. But I think just the collector's tin and the rolling papers at that time, if I was into ICP, that would have been enough for me to jump on it and get that, even if I had already heard those songs before.
And that makes sense because I have to remember, I didn't get this album when it first dropped either. I bought this probably in 2004 or 5 is when I started listening to this. So it was already a couple years old. And so didn't even know a collector's edition existed.
Yeah.
No.
Nor did I.
So it all makes sense. And here we are.
And here we are, man. So what's up? You want to get right into it?
Yeah, I mean, so we are going to be listening to My Shine. And if you haven't listened to it, go ahead and take a listen now.
Nobody gonna stop my shine. Ain't nobody gonna stop my shine. Ain't stopping mine. Ain't stopping mine. Rap game, it's happening. I'm stepping in. You cannot hold me back. Cause like the wraith I walk through you, I come through like Guru with Southwest Voodoo. It's Joe Bruce, baby, legendary. Relax, I see you running down home.
Good Lord, this song's great.
Dude, This song fucking rules. I was so happy to hear this song. I absolutely could not expect that there would be something that was this good, and that they, I guess, I don't know, like, does it make sense that this is definitely the best of the bonus tracks, of the 4 bonus tracks for me?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so I don't know whether it makes sense that it's on the collector's edition because they're trying to get people to buy that. It's such a good song, or whether it should have been on the regular one because it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see why it's on the collector's edition, just kind of being like, if you're going to put out the extra money, look what you get. You get this like brilliant, shiny diamond song.
Right.
And so it's worth the extra. I'm not sure how much the collector's edition was versus the regular, but, that song definitely makes it worth my while. If I could go back in time, I certainly would, made that choice.
Hell yeah, man. It's actually a nice, kind of, dichotomy, if I use that, did I use that term correctly? This is like the positive, upbeat, like Shangri-La type, positive vibe song. And the other track that we'll be talking about today is a little more dark, maybe closer to the Hell's Pit kind of. So you get that kind of light side, dark side.
Yeah.
I like that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was great. Yeah. Not to get into the other song because I have opinions on that too, but, yeah, I loved the positiveness of this song. I loved how, like, at the end, they're kind of saying the same stuff that they said at the end of, the Shangri-La, Joker's card, where they're just like, we don't care if we tricked you. This is just what it is. And I just love that. I love the audacity of that. I love they're owning it so much that they're willing to, if someone's going to walk away because of that, they're just like, nah, we'll make more.
Yeah,
we'll make more fans. And
they were feeling a kind of a positive tip right now, and nobody was going to get them down, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
This track, My Shine, actually both tracks that we're talking about this week were produced, conjoined, by Mike P and Violent J. So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were so many great lines in this track that make me think about, specifically, there were lines that made me think about the time when you, me, and Bill were all living together in San Francisco, like little hatchet men in the back windows.
Yeah.
Because when we all lived together, we all had hatchet men in the back windows of our cars.
Yeah, we certainly did. I was going to mention that too. We sure did. And I like it because in the line it says the black truck convoys. And I had that, and mine was a black, Dodge Dakota.
Right,
I had the 2 stickers. You know what? To my shame, I'm just going to throw it out there just so people can know how I was and who I've been in the past. I had those 2 Hatchetman stickers with the Jekyll Brothers fire sticker in the middle. And that was like right in the middle of my back window of my truck. And then way in the right hand corner, a small little round NRA sticker. And that was my sticker. I'd gotten that and had it on my truck. When I was 19 years old, I joined the NRA under, I wasn't pressured. Just a youth pastor got me into guns super big time at this church I was going to. And like started taking me shooting and helped me get registered to buy a gun and all the stuff that goes with gun stuff. And also helped me sign up for the NRA. And so I think I paid for 1 year subscription to the NRA, and you got 2 gun magazines. And then if I've told this story already, I apologize. I feel like I've said this recently and I can't remember if it was on this show or if I was just telling someone this.
Right.
But, yeah. But, yeah, so it's just hilarious. It's just like these ICP stickers and all of a sudden this like NRA sticker in the corner.
Right. Well, it was like 15 years ago and we didn't know that they were all the Russians.
Yeah. 15 years ago, man, that was like 20 years ago.
Well, I guess when we lived together in San Francisco, it was like 2004? Something like that, right?
2003? Because 2004 I started working where I work now.
Okay.
And you guys had left.
Right.
So,
we're so,
I know.
But yeah, so the music on this, it's Mike P and Violent J, as I said. It's really upbeat. There's some really interesting guitar layering that's going on. There's kind of this like really high up, tremolo guitar. I think it's a tremolo. It might be a synthesizer, but I think it's a tremolo guitar. And then there's another guitar that's in the background that does some more warbly stuff, but then it's also got some like ringing out notes and chords. And it gives the song like this cool depth, along with some like plunky bell keyboards. It's a really cool. It actually, I feel like it fits with it makes me think of the same imagery that I listen when I listen to Wizard of the Hood.
That was what I thought too, and I was like really intoxicated one night listening to these songs, and I was like, My Shine is another song, and I got to where I was bouncing it back and forth between Shiny Diamonds, I think it was, and then also What You Thinking About. Like this song almost reminds me of those two songs somehow mixed together. That I just remember thinking that one night. I was playing them over and over and over, and so at least I'm not saying they're a mashup of this song's a mashup of those songs, but there was a lot of familiarity. I think partly with somehow some of its flow, but I think some of the music and just just like the tempo, it's just very reminiscent of that. And I could be completely wrong because, like I said, I was a tiny bit intoxicated when I was doing that, and it was just driving me crazy. It's like My Shine reminds me of something else.
Well, I think it's apt that you were intoxicated when you're listening to it, because basically the song starts off with like this. So it comes in with Violent J doing a spoken word intro where he gives a preamble or whatever of like, this song right here is for all the juggalos who are enjoying these like diamonds, shiny diamonds days with us in Shangri-La.
Yeah.
And then he says like poof of smoke. And I don't know if he's talking about getting high, but that's what the album's about that it's on. And so that's kind of what I think too. And in the first line, he mentions Hallowicked 2002 second night. And do you know the history of, we haven't really talked too much about the history of Hallowicked or what happened in 2002. I actually looked it up, and the riddlebox.be, this Belgian ICP site that I've mentioned a few times, comes through again with some really interesting information about Hallowicked 2002. So apparently what had happened was ICP had scheduled to have their annual Hallowicked concert on Halloween night in 2002, but that night sold out so fast that they decided to put on a second show, the night before on Devil's Night. And then they had different lineups for both nights. So on the first night of the tour, which was the added show, or the first night was the added show, the opening acts were Blaze, Isham, Zug Island, and Wolf and the Ninjas in Action. I never heard of them. I don't know who they are. Probably a local band. And then the next night on Halloween was Twisted and ABK. And so I think it makes sense that, the second one, which is the one that sold out first and had Twisted, it was maybe a larger act or whatever. It must have really been going off. I imagine it was probably a pretty good show. And if you go to Fago Lovers, actually, they have a set of pictures that a couple of different people had posted from that night. And so you can see all the different performers, and Isham was there. Twisted was supporting the Green Book, which had come out recently. But my favorite thing that happened that night, and I'll try to post some of these pictures on at least one of them on Instagram, is Shaggy performed apparently at least part of his set dressed in a Super Balls costume. Oh. Dressed as a giant nutsack. Giant veiny nutsack.
Sounds apt. Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
That is great.
Yeah. So there's, like I said, there's a lot of really cool imagery in this song. It makes it feel, I think that's what kind of also adds to the feeling of it really going with the Wizard of the Hood album. Violent J says, he's got a verse that says, in a crystal forest under a greenlit sky, tornadoes of glitter float calmly by.
Yeah.
He talks about ruby red trees and yellow gem bushes.
Yep. And then I think, is it the last verse? I like how he says, never been to any churches except to get chicken.
Hell yeah, man. Actually, I want to give a shout out to the homie Rob, who emails us very often. He wanted to mention that line specifically. That's one of his favorite ICP lyrics ever.
I can see why. That's great.
Yeah. But the other thing I want to say about the lyrics is it's like a bridge to the chorus when he says, "Rap game is happening, stepping in, represent the hatchet man as best I can."
Yeah.
That's some really amazing writing, and we've criticized Violent J or ICP actually in general, of having this sort of like repetitious flow. But they're almost like 10 years, more than 10 years, 12 years into the game at this point, a whole host of albums under their belt. And you can really start to see them developing as an artist and changing up their styles and changing up their rhyming patterns and stuff. And I just really appreciated that.
Yeah. It had a great cadence to it, and really just like pieces everything together. And it's like a good mortar for your bricks, you know?
Yeah.
There is a line in here that is pretty upsetting, that I didn't care for, and so I just kind of skipped over it, but
We've said it before, right? Violent J. Well, it was 2002's Gathering the Juggalos where he apologized for having a homophobic tone in everything that he says.
Yeah.
I assume that's the line that you mean.
Yes.
There's a cool reference that's in here. Coming in, I think it's leading into the second verse after the first chorus. He says, "You can't hold me back," which is it's a line from an Awesome Dre song from 1989, and I think it's actually the name of the track is "You Can't Hold Me Back." And Awesome Dre was like a local Detroit legendary rapper or whatever. He even says in that there's a line in that song where he says, "Don't fuck with those guys from Detroit."
Yeah. Wow.
Which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
The other thing, and then so later on, then they in Shangri-La they talk a lot about the church and or in Hell's Pit too. Mostly in Hell's Pit they talk about church, but they talk about the church a lot in this. And he says like rolling up Bible papers to smoke his weed.
Yeah. Tells a priest to eat a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Then he straight up says, and I could be wrong. I don't remember them just being so. Yeah, never mind. Yes, they do. They just reinforce it in this song, "The Carnival is God."
Yeah, they basically say like religion, because he's basically talking shit about priests and the church, and then he says, "We know the carnival is God."
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, we've talked multiple times about, I like to say that you get pissed off when people say that ICP are Christians.
Yeah.
And it kind of like is them really explicitly saying like religion and church or churches, organized religion, are not God. But the carnival is their representation of God. That is a-religious, if I could make that word up.
Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking, wow, I don't remember them ever saying the carnival is God, but that's like he sings that out loud in the last song.
Right.
Right off key and everything. So I don't know why I'm like, did he ever say that before? right as I'm asking that question, I'm hearing him sing it in my head. I'm like, I'm stupid.
I mean, he definitely does, but he doesn't really give it any context. And I think if you only listen to Thy Unveiling, you could be confused. And I think most people would assume that some guys from the Midwest, when they're talking about God, would be talking about Christianity. But I think he's trying to be more explicit about like, no, that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's something different for us.
Yeah.
Which that's cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. And then it just goes into the repeating chorus, right? Bring it out.
Yeah.
But there is one other line where he actually, I can't imagine if it's intentional or not, but he says, "There's a body on my bathroom floor." Right?
In the song? I don't remember.
Am I wrong? Yeah, he says, "Every morning when I wake up and no halo on my shit, I got a body on my bathroom floor, so I cut it up and chop it, wrap it up and drop it, take a shower, and I'm ready for more. Take a shower and I'm ready for more."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he's giving us a transition there.
Yeah. Wow. It's like a lead-in paragraph to the next, or a lead-in sentence to the next paragraph. Wow. I didn't catch that.
Yup.
Yeah.
It always works on levels, man. ICP's always fucking with you.
I know they are. It's good stuff. Are we ready to jump into the next song?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So the next song is Bloody Bitch. And if you haven't heard that, you might want to take a listen right now.
Another bitch find me end of the night, I be scrubbing.
4 o'clock in the morning out here in one slipper. Had to freeze her so the bitch ain't a dripper. Unzip the zipper, feel like Jack the Ripper. Had the monkey flipper into a wood chipper. Blood on my walls, mirrors and floors. Some even on the carpet from under the doors. I never saw so much fucking blood before.
This song I feel like could be an easy song to beat up on, in ways.
Mm-hmm.
So before I say anything negative about or any disappointment, it's a fucking awesome song. Like I really love it and I want to listen to it more. I don't, because it makes me feel a little uneasy sometimes. Like I feel like I probably shouldn't indulge in that. But I mean, the way the song is put together, the music is amazing. I love the chorus. How many times I always have to point out if I like a chorus, because usually the chorus is the weakest part of a song for me with ICP. And here I am just like this. I love this chord. I love everything about the way this song's put together and its flow, its music, its background music. Even some of the death lyrics are they're brutal and creative, and I appreciate the thought that he put into it. And, but I mean, and from just looking at it from that angle, I mean, do you agree? Did you like the song just like on the surface? Did you think it was a good song?
Well, one of the notes that I wrote early on in my first listen was, this song's pretty rough. And I know it's like the wicked shit. He actually even says, I know we're already moving on, but back in The Shine, he says, like, I don't know why anybody wants to, like, feel bad, basically. Like, I don't know, people want this, like, they want to see us bring the fire rain, Why can't people just be happy with things? But this is what they want, people want the wicked shit. So, I've actually been thinking about that a lot since we recorded the last episode of The Wraith. And feeling like it's just a difference in tone, and maybe it's not my preferred ICP, but I'm trying to look at it from a different angle, try to appreciate it for what it is. And, if you removed a few lines from this or changed a couple of words, I would have absolutely no problem with this song at all. Like, I realize it's just like one main concept, and then basically the use of the word bitch that kind of puts me off from it. And I get that I'm like pretty sensitive about that, but that's just how I am.
Yeah.
But in terms of the content of the music or the content of the lyrics and all of that, having something that's like violent or even ultra violent doesn't really bother me. But when you put in a line like, he basically says that he killed this woman because she wouldn't have sex with him. Yeah. That's, then it ruins the whole song for me, unfortunately.
That was what it was for me too. Specifically that line, where I'm just like, seriously? Like, it turns into an insult thing, like, right. And I want to separate that type of stuff. And it's hard to do that, when they just like line it up like T-ball.
Right. But I will say that I really like it. It did remind me of, when I was listening to it, it reminded me of Necro's Dead Body Disposal. And I really do actually love the second verse where he says, you watch these like forensic files on TV shows and they teach you all the secrets of how to like cut up and dispose of a dead body or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool idea. And I also really like in the chorus when he says, got another bitch dead on my bathroom floor. And then the end of the first hook is, find me deep in the night, I be thugging. And then it ends the chorus with that same refrain, but the last line is, find me end of the night, I be scrubbing. And I hear that and I think, because I know ICP, that it's like a double meaning of him being a scrub, right? He's like a washed up nobody, but also he's literally scrubbing the bathroom. He's got to clean this shit up,
Yeah.
And he doesn't even really remember, like, he kind of remembers what happened, but, he just wakes up and he finds this dead body there and he's like, shit, man, it happened again. I got to clean it up.
Yeah. I like one of the redeeming aspects to just the overall story is, it's not Violent J necessarily, you know. It's more one of those character songs. And he knows he's going to hell. Like, he's just straight up at the end, just like, you know, how does he exactly say it? Hell Pit's got a cactus waiting on my ass, so expect me to cry when it's time to pass. So I thought that was I felt like that was a redeeming line. Like, I'm gonna make this awful song about just relentlessly killing women, and then I'm going to say, but I know I'm going to hell for it, and it kind of makes it okay. You know, and it kind of does in a way.
Well, here's the thing that I think about that, and you know, I can always be accused of reading too far into things. But in hell, you're gonna get punished in like the worst way possible, right? And if you're a homophobe and you are constantly talking trash on people, you know, who are homosexual or whatever, would it make sense that you like would be tortured in the way that would really fuck with you the most?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that's, I don't know, that's kind of interesting to me. But also, I'm curious how you say that it's not Violent J, because I feel like I agree with you. But he says Violent J's not around, but Moon Glorious is there.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Scared of fucking death of what's happening here. So I don't know if he, and we've had some listeners write in and give us history about Moon Glorious and all of that. And it's not supposed to be an alternate identity of Violent J, right? It's like a whole different character. And so that does make me feel like it's not Violent J in this.
Okay.
But, you know, who
knows? Yeah.
You mentioned go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think sometimes we, like the three of us, when we're doing this, try to make everything fit narratives and how story arcs work and how character development works, and we twist and twist until we try to make it something that's probably not at all ever, but it makes us feel better about trying to describe it, and at least just let it settle in some file in our brain. It fits there.
Right. Well, it's our podcast. So.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing I did appreciate starts with a sound clip from Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Yes.
Which really made me, it's been so long since I've watched a Nightmare on Elm Street, and we talked about many episodes ago, but what song is that? Where they basically retell the story. It's one of the Halloween songs. I can't remember. But you know, the origins of Freddy are problematic. But I love those Nightmare on Elm Streets, especially the mid ones, 3 and 4. Actually, when I was a kid, my sister was dating a guy when she was in college, and his sister, this is getting real convoluted. My sister's boyfriend's sister was in that movie in Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Dream Warriors. Her name was Brooke Theus. And she was on Just the 10 of Us, which was a Growing Pains spinoff. I think it was Growing Pains. And she played she's super hot, like buxom blonde, super athletic lady who gets turned into a cockroach.
Oh.
Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, I do.
She's doing a bench press, and her elbows rip, and her cockroach arms come out. That was the first Nightmare on Elm Street that I saw, and I was actually invited to go to the set, but my parents wouldn't let me go because I was too young and they thought it would be traumatizing for me. But I had an autographed 8x10 from Brooke Theus, which, you know, as a 6 or 7 year old, however old I was a treasured item that I got. And so, yeah, I really love that era of horror movie, and I think that Nightmare on Elm Street hits a really sweet spot. So I was really happy to hear that. It's the scene when Freddy's in the TV and he grabs the lady and pulls her into the TV and kills her.
Yeah. The actor that he does that to, she plays Lisa Simpson.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's her.
Oh, damn, I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's her, and she's young. She's like a teenager, obviously.
That's dope. I'm
pretty sure it's her. It's got kind of her voice, and she played in something else, and that's why I made the connection. So
that's awesome. Yeah. And then you mentioned at the beginning of the track, you mentioned the music, and this song sometimes they do these like kind of heavy, chunky, distorted music sounds, and that's what it sounded like to me. The beat is like really fuzzy and distorted. It made me think of and there's this like crunchy sound effect, like in the background. It made me think of the flame sound effect from like Super Mario Brothers.
Oh,
like,
nice.
Yeah, kind of pixelated video. I love when there's like spacey, like sci-fi pops and beeps, and then anything that's like a 8-bit or, you know, a video game track or whatever. I love when they include stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, there's also, if I'm not mistaken, there's like a sound of like a big heavy metal tool striking something metallic. And I think it might be in the chorus. I hear it in my head. It's like where he's like, on my bathroom floor, and it seems like it's right after that you hear this kung, and I don't know, I could be wrong. I should listen to it again, but I hear it, and I don't know if my brain's just throwing it in there because it just says like, this would be a good sound effect. I'm pretty sure I heard it in there though. Nice.
There is, and I think it's one of the, maybe it's the third verse when he says he's outside and you hear the cricket sounds. Makes you feel they're start, you know, I mentioned on the last several episodes of them getting more kind of like theatrical or whatever, crafting like a soundscape. I mean, they've always kind of done that, something I appreciate, but it really makes you feel like you're outside when all that comes in.
Yeah,
it's another thing that I really liked. And he mentions Color Me Bad. So he's cleaning the bathroom all night long. He's bringing out all the cleaning kits. He's got Mr. Clean. He's got Comet and his scrubbing bubbles out there, you know, trying to clean up this mess. And then he's cleaning all night listening to Color Me Bad.
Yeah.
Well, we actually got an email from the homie Jiggles. I scrubbed all night to some old Color Me Bad. Apparently Jay and Sugar Slam are both huge Color Me Bad fans. And they actually feature Color Me Bad on some future ICP songs, Ghetto Rainbows, the Smooth Ass R&B remix. Oh, that's only one of them. Ghetto Rainbow, Smooth Ass R&B remix. But yeah, so maybe if we figure out what tracks those are on or what albums, then we'll get to those as well. But looking forward to that.
Yeah. Oh, mercy.
And then we got another email actually about this album from the homie Rob. Letting us know that there's a reference to an Esham track, How Do I Plead to Homicide, which has a cover of 6 in the Morning by Ice-T. So, and he's recommending that we check out some of the early Esham albums, and so maybe that's something that you and I can do while Bill is changing diapers.
Yeah.
On a future bonus episode, maybe.
Yeah.
I'd be down to check out some of that.
I've seen him live, with Twisted, but I couldn't tell you a song.
Right. Well, apparently the homie Rob lets us know that, especially like the early on, I don't know if it's just the early ICP or if they continue, but a lot of their stuff, they basically just straight steal from Esham. And so we might find a lot of cool similarities or whatever if we go back and listen to some of those older tracks.
I want to see that then. Yeah. Is this song called Bloody Bitch or Bloody Bitch Dead?
That's a really good question. Like on Genius, it says Bloody Bitch Dead, but if you look it up on YouTube, it's just called Bloody Bitch.
Yeah, that's what I had listened to on. So, yeah, I just had noticed that when I pulled up the lyrics earlier, and I was like, oh, I'm saying it wrong.
Right. I don't know.
There is no wrong way to say that.
Right.
You know, and I have to say, as much as I really like the song, I'll probably never listen to it again. Unfortunately, I'll listen to Wizard in the Hood again, but I won't listen to that song. But I'll definitely listen to My Shine.
Yes, agreed. I'm right there with you, man.
And it's too bad because, like I said, there's a lot to like about that song. But
I mean, the third verse, is it the third verse? The second? It's the third verse. The last verse starts off 4 o'clock in the morning out here. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember how it goes. Anyways, unzip the zipper, feel like Jack the Ripper, had to monkey flipper into a wood chipper.
Yeah. That's blood on my walls, mirrors and floors, under the doors. Yeah. God,
that third verse is good, man.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. That made me think of something else, and now I'm already... Oh, well, you had mentioned that some of this song reminded you of Dead Bodies Disposal by Necro, and good lord, I like that song. And I listen to it, and it makes me feel dirty, but I still listen to it.
That was the first Necro track that I ever heard. My buddy Rob shared that with me, the same guy who introduced me to ICP. And I used to go to necrohiphop.com all the time and look at their read their forums. There's a bunch of twisted motherfuckers on there that would post pictures of like dead bodies and crime scene photos and people that had like committed suicide or died by suicide, and also links to porn, and like all these like women would send in boob shots or whatever. And so when I was like, I think I was like 15 or 16 or something when that album came out. Yeah, man, I was into seeing all that stuff.
Yeah, I remember when we all lived together in the city. You introduced me to Necro and showed me that website, and we looked at that.
It had that like animated flash intro or
Yeah,
whatever, the blood and everything. I used to go to that site all the time. Loved it.
Yeah, I didn't use the internet a whole lot back then, so that was kind of one of the first real sites I started going to a lot too, because you'd showed it to me and I was like, oh, that's crazy. And I did like the music, like Necro's music, and but I kind of got tired of it real fast too. It was too hard to listen to for me, because it didn't have like the stuff that ICP has that makes it bearable. Like the cartoon aspect of it that we've talked about a lot. Right. And so like I can listen to a song or two and then I'm like, okay, I'm done with this guy. It's just too heavy. But man, that was a crazy badass song.
Right.
Like the second to the last show in the last band I was in back in last year, we played this venue at in Oakland, and it's the Metro Opera House, and they have great shows there. And so we were hanging out in the back, outside the venue, and it was still daytime. And, so we're just like hanging out talking to other bands that were coming and stuff like that. And there was these huge posters that they paint on the back walls, of future stuff coming up. And like the next month, there was going to be this huge, hip hop barbecue, and Necro was playing, and it was just this huge painting of Necro on the poster. Mm-hmm. And it was really badass. And then these two fellows were walking by, and they asked if I knew about that, and I was like, no, but I know about Necro, and he's awesome. And then they're like, oh, I'm gonna come check this out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, I didn't go to it, but I don't know if I could handle an entire Necro show.
Yeah, I wonder how that is.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything that was being said or know any of the songs. I'd be really surprised if they played any of the songs I knew, because they're so old, the ones I know.
Right. He's pretty prolific, man. He's been putting out records pretty consistently for a long time. So, and he's still going strong, man. Oh. I follow him on Instagram. He's a good follow. Oh. He's like always posting it. He's always talking about going to the gym. He's posting his healthy food that he's eating. He's an interesting dude.
That's awesome.
I think he's got like he seems like he's kind of got it figured out, you know. He like chastises other artists for like blowing their money on dumb shit. So he seems like he's a pretty together guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised, because if you listen to his music, you assume that dude's fucked up.
Oh my gosh, the song, his remake of "I Need Love," that LL Cool J remake, the "I Need Drugs."
Yeah, "I Need Drugs" is great.
Oh, have you ever watched his video of it?
Oh man, I don't know if I have seen that video.
Oh, it's on YouTube. It's not cool. It's really not. Like, it's really exploiting and making fun of drug addicts. Like, the people that are in the video are clearly messed up and have awful addictions and are probably homeless or living in the apartment that they filmed it in. It looked like a crack house. Which is kind of weird that the video, I felt, didn't really match the lyrics in that, because in the lyrics, he's a family guy and getting away with getting messed up all the time and lamenting about it. And in the video, he's just like hanging out in this apartment with these people shooting up for reals.
Oh, I have definitely seen that video, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Necro doesn't give a... Well, the truth is, I'm sure, I'm confident in saying this, that he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I'm
so,
sure.
whatever happens, if you want to, like, murder somebody in the background of one of his videos, like, he's probably not going to give a shit about that either. Good old Necro.
It's a great, I've showed that song to people and they're like, don't show me stuff. I'm like, come on.
Right, I feel like Necro is not not really a person a band or whatever artist that you introduce to other people.
I just can't win. Can't show him ICP. I can't show him Necro.
ICP's like Disney compared to Necro.
I know. They really are. I wonder if they've ever done any like crossed paths and played crossed venues or played shows together or anything like that.
You know what? I'm gonna look it up. I can't imagine that they've never. How did they not know about each other?
Yeah.
Necro disses ICP and Psychopathic Records in 2017. Pulls out of Gathering the Juggalos. Pulls out the Juggalo March. So there you go.
Well,
he probably thinks they're silly clowns.
Well, they are.
Apparently on his Facebook page though, he said, "I'm not dissing ICP. I'm not dissing all the Juggalos. I'm aware there are Juggalos who love Necro." So I don't know. Maybe he's all right with them. That was this is from 2013 that he posted about that. So maybe he did diss them by the time 2017 came around.
Yeah.
But such is life.
Yeah. All right.
Cool, man. Are you got any other thoughts about
no
bloody bee dead on my bathroom floor?
No, I think I've said all I could say.
Well, I want to, if you got some time, I want to read some listener emails that we got, because we've been away for a while, and in the midst of that, we got a few emails from some folks giving us some updates on some of the previous episodes, giving us a little bit of extra information.
Nice.
And so I think I want to go through and give some shout outs to some folks for writing to us. First one, I want to give a shout out to the homie Jiggles, always emailing us and giving us the 411. So way back on Green Book, I mentioned on the song Serial Killer that somebody had posited, I can't remember where I read it, that there was Axe Murder Boys diss. I think it's on Genius. Somebody made a Genius note. Well, Jiggles lets us know that the Axe Murder Boys didn't really come into the fold until 2005. So that's a few years after Green Book came out. And so I think it's fair to speculate that Twisted didn't even know who Axe Murder Boys were at that time.
Oh, okay.
So that's interesting. He recommends that we check out the original version of The World Is Hell, and that there's some remixes and things that he likes. He says that that Twisted originally wanted to try to get Jonathan Davis from Korn to be on the track Darkness, but that ended up not happening. So that's kind of interesting because ICP hasn't actually shown a lot of love towards Korn. And so for Twisted to reach out to them, I did suggest that this was sort of a transitional point in them, that they were kind of starting to become on the outs with ICP. So maybe that was I don't know, maybe that was kind of like a throw something in the face of ICP. I don't know.
Yeah.
We also got an email from the homie Bryce. He's emailed us a few times. He wanted to give us some extra information from our episode on Dark Lotus Black Rain. Apparently Bryce got to see Dark Lotus on tour in support of this album around that time. And he said at the live show they would switch up. They wore matching costumes on that tour, and sometimes they would wear full suits with ski masks. Sometimes they would dress like scarecrows, bloody football players, dressed in all camo, like sniper, he says like sniper type outfits. But I'm thinking like, what is that called? Those like grass suits that people wear?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like when they, yeah. Like
you look like a moss man.
Yeah, you like either for hunting or in the military. Yeah.
Yeah. But he said he saw them, they were in full suits and ski masks, and the venue was fucking hot as shit. But they were still like fully covered. And so that was probably pretty funny.
Yeah.
And he lets us know that the final Lotus album, Mud, Water, Air, and Blood, is really good. And so we're looking forward to hearing that one, Bryce.
Nice.
Whenever that comes out, probably many years down the line. I mentioned the homie Brendan early on, giving us some information on the collector's edition of this album that we're talking about right now. He let us know, we were talking about on Raven's Mirror way back on Ray Shangri-La. There's a line where Violent J says something about, I think it's Violent J says, Jimmy Madrox rapped about something like this. And we kind of talked about what that could be in reference to. Mm-hmm. And Brendan, told me to check out, Jamie Madrox's verse on Given Half the Chance, which was on Blaze You Dead Homies' first album, One Less G in the Hood. And Jamie Madrox's verse on that one is where he talks about being buried alive, which is apt. So that's probably the reference.
Yeah, okay.
Which is kind of cool. So just really appreciate everybody. We always love when people interact with us, especially on social media, on the Instagram. It's my favorite thing when sometimes like people talk to each other. Like it's great when people talk to us, but I love it when conversations get started and people like talk to each other on those posts as well. It makes me feel really good that there's this like kind of community or whatever. So I just want to appreciate everybody for emailing us, commenting on the Instagram posts, sending us information to share, because obviously we don't know the fuck what's going on, right?
Yeah.
We're all trying to figure it out. So really appreciate everybody, the juggalos out there to keep us on the straight path and put the right information out there. Just really appreciate everybody. So thanks for all the emails and thanks for all the comments, everybody.
Yeah, nice.
Whew.
What are we gonna do next then?
You know what I was gonna suggest is, we talked about the Hollow Wicked Show 2002. There was an EP CD that they handed out at that concert, which had 2 tracks on it. It had Violent J and Isham with a track called Silence of the Hams, which sounds great. Sounds great to me. And the second track was a remake of Dead Body Man by Blaze the Dead Homie. Dead Body Man 2002. And before we got on the call today, I listened to the Dead Body Man remix, and it's a completely different, it's different music, different lyrics. It's enough of a different song that I think maybe that might be something fun to do. All
right. So Silence of the Hams and Dead Body Man 2002. And this is off of the Hollow Wicked
2002 EP. And then if you're up for it,
is that like that's on YouTube, I'm sure.
They're on YouTube. I didn't check if they're on Spotify or not, but you can find them on YouTube.
I've just been using YouTube lately. I'm kind of sick of Spotify.
Yeah. And then the other thing is maybe we can talk about, there's a couple of music videos that have come out recently. So, Fearless Fed Fury is out. Obviously that came out a couple months ago, but ICP just released a few weeks ago, an album for the song Satellites, which I saw, and I think it's a really interesting video. And so we could probably talk about that a little bit. And then, the new Twisted album just came out, Generation Nightmare. And have you had a chance to check out any of the tracks from that?
No.
Okay. So they have their album. I think I heard the title track, if I'm not mistaken. I listened to a couple of tracks off that album, but the video that just came out is for a song called Magic Spells. And to me, I have not listened to any Twisted between, what have we listened to last? Green Book?
Yeah.
Between Green Book and now. So I have no idea what these guys are up to, but I was blown away by this song. It was not at all what I was expecting. I just feel like it's something really different, really fresh. It made me really excited about what Twisted is up to these days. And so if you're up for that, maybe we can watch that video.
Okay.
And talk about what's happening in that video and maybe a little bit about the track.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So Magic Spells and then Satellites.
Yeah, we can do the EP, the Hollow Wicked EP from 2002, and then we can talk about those 2 videos.
Okay.
Awesome, man. And we'll have who knows when that's, I'll try to get this one. It should be, if with any luck, with the Lord's grace behind us, you're listening to this on June 27th. And then maybe, hopefully we can get it together, and try to get I don't know. We'll shoot for whatever. Oh, that's July 4th. America's birthday. Maybe we'll have, our next episode out. If not, then it'll probably be on the 11th of July. Okay. So keep an eye out for that.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for everybody for tuning in. We will be meeting up with Bill in the next few weeks to hopefully finish out Hell's Pit, but we really appreciate you guys checking us out in the interim, listening to these little episodes. We just really appreciate you guys. And until next time, you can always follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram at Dim Carnival. And you can email us any of your thoughts or suggestions for things that you want us to cover. Thanks to the homie Rob and Jiggles and other people who have reached out to us to make suggestions on that. dimcarnival@gmail.com. And until next time, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steve.
And I live life like I'm playing a game of Xbox. I don't even own an Xbox. I'm a PS4 guy.
I know, same here.
The good thing is that, well, the odd thing is that, like, just a couple of days ago, I was working out on my lunch break, and I was like, damn, I feel like I haven't listened to any ICP lately. I need to listen to something.
What'd you listen to?
Oh, nothing. I just had that thought.